So a dream of mine came true. This sounds so ridiculous, but this book was written. It was given to me as a gift last week. Don't you love that when something shows up and you're like, I didn't, I order plenty. So I was like, I didn't order this, especially because it came here. And at first, when you don't know who sent it to you, and you're like, oh, it's so great. And then you figure out who it is. This is the untold story of Sita. So has that been your dream come true too? So let me explain a little bit. So Sita is the story. We find out who Sita is through the Ramayana, right? The Ramayana is the story of Sita and Ram, which is how we're introduced to Hanuman. Right? And Hanuman is the hero who saves Sita because she's abducted, and she is abducted by this, his name's Ravana. He's this wild one, and she's abducted, and Hanuman saves her, finds her, saves her. Go ahead. Go ahead. Thank you. But the challenge in the story is, now I'm so in love with Hanuman, right? And I'm so in love with the idea of Ram and Sita being our God self and our human self, and how we act in the world, and how we are in service, right? And being in service is just such a beautiful thing for me, and a concept and a place that I want to live in. But the hard part of this story is that Sita keeps coming, like doing everything she's supposed to do, but then it seems like she always gets the raw end of the deal, right? So for an example, Sita and Ram are supposed to become the ones who are going to run the kingdom, because Ram's father is going to retire. And instead of them taking over the kingdom, some kind of family drama happens. And instead of them taking over the kingdom, they're exiled. They're exiled into the forest. And so they have to leave this palace. And I always have that moment, like, just think about it for a second. You're supposed to take over this gorgeous palace. You're supposed to start to serve. And you've got some things that go along with that, right? Some like luxuries, right? But instead, now you're sent to the forest. And you just say, let me pack my bags, I'll go, right? And so they go into the forest, but then she gets abducted by this demon. And then when she comes back, when she gets saved, the townspeople or the people in this community say, well, was she really, really true to Ram while she was abducted? Did she really, And so then she gets sent away again. And then she gets, like, so many things happen to her, and you're like, how could this be? She's done all the right things. Here's the book. In the book, it starts to say everything about how nothing happens that she doesn't want to happen. And everything happens for a reason when you're in service of love. So close your eyes if you haven't yet. It says it's somewhere between dark and daylight, at the hour when the mind is the stillest, when dreams submerge into the ocean of the mind, before one becomes aware of our outer world, before the stars retreat and the sun sunsets, before the birds begin to stir, but after the night creatures have gone to rest. It is at that time that the inner world lights up our vision, and we can see things we normally do not see, and hear what our human ears cannot usually hear. At first, it was just love, and then I saw the light assume a beautiful greenish color and become aware of the formless presence of Sri Ram, God, everywhere. And as I wondered at the intensity and the immensity of love, I felt and heard these words. This is the love that Sri Ram brought to the earth. He awakened a new quality of love. And I understood that Mata Sita came to unlock the love that is encoded in all creation, so humanity could advance to its fullest potential. When you serve and love, you do everything on your own terms. Just take a moment. Breathe in and breathe out. This idea of service is so dear to me. But you don't just serve your teacher or your guru. You serve and love yourself, everyone in your family, and those that are even difficult for you. You serve and love. And then everything is on your terms. Bring your hands together at your heart center. Inhale for the sound of Om, deep breath in. Let your head bow down to your heart. Let your mind take a rest. And let your heart take that front and center. Release your hands and open your eyes. Good. Come onto your hands and knees and press back into child's pose. And breathe in and breathe out. The story is just so well told. It starts by being told by a servant that is in the home of Sita's father before Sita is even born. And it's told from a perspective of a child who watches her father serve Ram, not serve Ram, serve the Maharaj, serve Sita's father. And watching that is very difficult for her because the father does whatever is necessary in the form of love. So maybe that's washing the floors. There is no task that is too big or too small when you're in service of love. There's no one that is above or below when you're in service of love. Come on up to your hands and knees. Press back downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal your heels here. And then come to that sweet stillness. And breathe in and breathe out. Just feel this moment. Be present here. And simply walk your feet up to your hands, standing forward bend. Bow. A deep bow. Some of you I haven't seen for a while. Welcome back. Bend your knees deeply, reach your arms forward and up, come up into chair. And then place your hands on your thighs and cat-cow here. See that you're squeezing your shins toward each other so that stability in your legs is very powerful. Even feel yourself press through the mound of your big toe and little toe. And then the next time you round, stay there, no breath, and just pump your navel in and out. And then inhale, look forward. Exhale, round. No breath at all, none. Just pump the navel in and out. Move the navel in and out. One more time like that. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, round. Pump the navel. And inhale. And rise up to stand. Good. Reach your arms up to the sky. Interlace your palms. Press straight up. Draw your shoulder blades deep onto your back. Take your thighs, move them back and wide. And then take a hold of your left wrist and pull to the right. And come back to center and switch to the other side. Beautiful. Come center, clasp your hands behind your back. Shrug your shoulders towards your ears, get a lot of side body length. And then bow forward. Exhale, 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 exhale. Take your arms up and over any amount. Do not lock your knees back. Great. Let your left hand come to your outer right ankle, right arm to the sky, twist. Could be aware of moving that left hip forward, keep it back. And then change sides. Right hand, outer left ankle, left arm to the sky. Beautiful. Touchdown, downward facing dog. Roll forward to plank pose. Lower all the way down to your belly. Pull your navel in, rise up, cobra. Press back, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Inhale your right leg back and up behind you, down dog split. And then come up to your left tippy toes, nice and high. Good, now keep the right leg where it is, but lower your left heel. Beautiful. Step your right foot forward, Virabhadrasana 1, first warrior. Right foot forward, first warrior. And once again, clasp your hands behind your back. Shrug the shoulders up, get space, pull your throat back. Gorgeous, and bow forward. Root down through that back heel. Take the arms up and over any amount. And if the shoulders are overly tight, bend your elbows here. Good, let your hands float to the floor. Spin up your back heel. Inhale your arms to the sky, high lunge. Watch those front ribs that they don't pop forward. Draw in that power. And then clasp your hands behind your back again. Take a breath in. And then a balancing forward bend here. Let your hands float to the floor. Downward facing dog. Take it forward to plank. Lower all the way down to your belly. Navel in, rise up. Cobra, strong legs. Press back, downward facing dog. Inhale that left leg back and up behind you. Lift up onto your right tippy toes. Keep the left leg as high as it is, but lower your right heel down. And then gaze forward, take a moment, inhale, and step forward, left foot forward, Virabhadrasana 1, first warrior. Really nice, beautiful. Feel those armpits move back, feel that throat move back. And then clasp your hands behind your back. Keep all the space you can. Inhale, exhale, bow forward. Front knee stays bent. Let your hands float down to the floor. Spin up your back heel. Inhale your arms back to the sky. Beautiful. High lunge, so the back heel's lifted. Soften your face. Clasp your hands behind your back and bow forward. Breathe in. Watch the tension. If your elbows need to bend, it'll feel good to bend them. And then take the arms down to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. Roll forward to plank. Lower down to your belly. Rise up to cobra. Slide your hands back. Lift your chest. Pull your chest through your arms. Downward facing dog. Brilliant. Good, right foot forward, Vira 1, once again. Any arm variation here, maybe you want to bend your elbows. Maybe you want to take your hands behind your head, strengthen your neck. Drop into your back foot. Beautiful. Excuse me, once again, clasp your hands behind your back. Each time you bow forward, think to yourself, I'm going to take my head all the way down to the floor. Go. Hands down to the floor. Spin up your back heel. Lift your left leg to the sky, standing split. Point those left toes to the floor. I bow again and again. I am service. Nice, Roz. And then here you go. Clasp your hands behind your back again. Float back to Virabhadrasana 1, bowing. Yikes. That was a little messy. Hands down to the floor, downward facing dog. Vinyasa of choice or none. Beautiful. Nice, Anne. Melody, beautiful. Nice, Ludmila. Left foot forward when you're ready. You're 1. Arm position of choice. Yeah. Or just clasp your hands behind your back. Breathe in as you exhale, bow. Head to the floor. Bowing your head to your feet, lotus feet. Hands to the floor. Take your right leg up, standing split. Power of your legs here. So squeeze your inner legs toward each other. Pull your navel in. Draw your navel all the way up to your heart. Now clasp your hands behind your back. And slowly take it back to that bowing first warrior. Keep your inner knee wide. Gorgeous, Heidi. Yeah, Jackie, nice. Nice, Larry. Hands to the floor. Janet, beautiful. Downward dog. Good, right foot forward, Vera 1. What? What's wrong with her? She can't think of anything else? Yeah, I can't. I have no idea what else to do. Just warrior 1 today. Clasp your hands behind your back. Take a breath in and bow. You're in that same position of that young girl who couldn't understand, why do I have to keep bowing to this? Why? But do it with love. Take your hands to the floor. Spin up your back heel. Take that leg to the sky. Each time, can you become more graceful? Bring your hands to your heart center. Rise up to Virabhadrasana 3. Clasp your hands behind your back. Step back, bowing, warrior 1. Hands down to the floor. Downward facing dog. Vinyasa of choice or none at all. Nice, Marjorie. Left foot forward, Vera 1. Clasp your hands behind your back. Each time more gracefully. Mind set and relaxed, bow forward. Hands float to the floor. Spin up your back heel, take the leg to the sky, standing split. Let your exhales get just a little longer here. Bring your hands up to your heart center. Come up to Virabhadrasana 3. Gorgeous, Renee. Clasp your hands behind you and step back to bowing warrior 1. Nice, Sarah. Nice, Allison. And touch down, hands to the floor. Downward facing dog. Come on down to those knees and press back into child's pose. So Sita is considered the earth goddess. She is a form of Lakshmi. And Ram and Sita are incarnations of Vishnu, Lakshmi. So it's that energy that's sustaining. So what is sustainable love? Sustainable service. Not just to someone that is giving you spiritual practices like a guru, but to the people who live in your house. Can I serve? To the neighbors next door, can I serve? It was one of the beautiful teachings that once Sita was born, and as she was born to her parents who were old, and she was actually, as they asked for her to come into the world, she was born right in the soil. They found her in the soil. And from the moment that she was birthed, she was in service. If there was an animal that was hurt, she was there. If there was a tree that was hurt, she was there. If there was a person that was hurt, she was there. Even as a baby. Come on up to your hands and knees. And do a little cat and cow here. Yes, that's how it became very confusing in my mind, how that she could have had all these things happen to her in the story of the Ramayana, like that she was a victim. This is so clear that everything that she had happened to her was her doing because she was serving in love. And there was a reason for it. For even Ravana, who had abducted her, needed to be free from his life that he was leading. And so she, in having herself abducted, was in service of love to help him end life. It was no longer serving. Downward facing dog. That's why I consistently say, watch when you call somebody the bad guy and the good guy. It might be the bad guy that's actually living the truest self. And that's so weird, right? But it's helping you, helping me to evolve. Right foot forward. All right, Vera 2. I remembered there was a second warrior. Good. Clasp your hands behind your back. Now lean to the right. So keep your left shoulder and your right shoulder in the same line. Lean to the right. Keep that knee bent. Lean, go further, go further, go further. Yep, 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 yep. Good. Now take your arms alongside your ears. Yes. Keep that knee bent. Bend it more, bend it more. Push into your back heel. Inhale, come on up. Clasp your hands behind your back. Turn to the right, to the right. The right, and bow forward. Good. Drop your hands down to the floor. Downward facing dog. And stepping your left foot forward, Vera 2. Wings. Get your arms so long, light, powerful. Clasp your hands behind your back. Lean to the left. Just lean to the left, keeping your right shoulder on top of your left shoulder. Keep that knee bent. Don't back off. Nice, Alana. Now take your arms alongside your ears and reach. Now clasp your hands behind your back and bow inside your left knee. Hands down to the floor. Downward facing dog. Good. Step your right foot forward. High lunge, please. Bring your hands to your heart center. And prayer twist to the right. Keep those shoulders, Lisa. Keep working those shoulders. Now pull your head forward. Pull your head forward. Yeah, Larry. Pull your head forward. Good. Good. Now place your hands down on the floor and kick up your back leg, standing split. Front of your mat mark. Standing split. And then take your right arm to the sky, twisting Ardha Chandrasana. That's it. Nice, Robin. Janet, beautiful. Take that arm a little closer to your ear. Get it so much space in that side body. And touch down, downward facing dog. Nice, Kathy. Left foot steps forward, high lunge. Hands to your heart center and prayer twist. See if you could draw those shoulders onto your back even here. Now pull your head forward. Release your hands down to the floor. Take your back leg to the sky. Point your toe to the floor, left toes to the floor, right toes to the floor, left arm to the sky. So we do this a lot whenever we lift the arm, as we tend to go toward the hip. Try to bring that arm towards your ear. That's it. That's it. Release down, step back, downward facing dog. Good, come forward to plank. Lower down to your belly and turn your cheek to the side. No job too great or too small when you're in service. This is one of those stories, like I said, I've always been in love with Sita. This is one of those stories that as I'm reading it, it just reminds me of how devoted I am to that idea of service. How devoted I am to that feeling of evolving myself through the practice of karma yoga. And of course, she's quite the green witch, so I love her even more. She always knows what herb to grab when someone needs it. Turn your cheek to the other side. So I've decided to, for now on, you guys have to call me Sita. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. When my grandkids were born, I decided to name myself Uma because I didn't want to be called grandma because I was way too young. And Uma is another name of Parvati. Parvati is one of my names that one of my spiritual teachers gave me. And so the other day, my granddaughter said, "You're not a grandma." I said, "What am I?" She said, "You're an Uma." Right. All right, reach back for those ankles, please. Forehead to the mat, navel in, rib cage lifted. I think that's what I miss about not having you guys in class with me, is I don't know if you're laughing at anything I say, but I can hear it over here. Go ahead, lift up. Open your mouth, stick out your tongue. And press back again to child's pose. Beautiful. Come on up to your hands and knees. Stretch your right arm out to the right and thread it underneath your left, threading the needle. And breathe deeply here. Open those shoulders. We know for sure that when we have any kind of tightness in the shoulders, there's probably tightness in the pelvis. There's tightness in the pelvis, there's probably tightness in the shoulders. So opening those shoulders helps to move energy. Good, come on up and try the other side. Enjoy your breath here. Just feel so amazing, everybody. Come on up. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And step your right foot forward, lower your left knee down to the mat. Inhale your arms to the sky, Anjaneyasana. Nice, so. Good. All right, here we go. Straighten that front leg, Ardha Hanumanasana. Then clasp your hands behind your back. Bow over your right leg. Good, now let your right hand fall down to the ground and bring your right hand on the outside, your left hand come down to the floor and take it on the outside of your right leg and your right arm to the sky. So it's twisting Ardha Hanumanasana. Nice, Valerie. Yep, Ruchi. Good, release down, downward facing dog. Feel free to take a vinyasa if you'd like here, or as you're ready, left foot comes forward, Anjaneyasana. Get the outer armpit to move back, the inner elbow to move back, the throat to move back. It's almost as if everything moves back except for your heart explodes forward. Let the hands touch down to the floor, straighten that front leg, dig that heel down, pull it back so your right hip is right on top of your right knee. And then clasp your hands behind your back. Now, if you haven't yet done the awkward handhold where you've had the other thumb weave in first, go ahead and do that just because it stretches your wrists a little differently. And then bow forward. Nice, Roz. Good, and then take your right hand on the outside of your left shin or leg and stretch your left arm up to the sky. Keep squeezing that shin, so give that shin a little push with that arm. Pull the inner thighs wide. And release, downward facing dog. Okay, right foot forward, back knee on the mat, arms up. Good, now right here, clasp your hands behind your back. Lift your shoulders up. Even bend your elbows just for a moment, shoulders up, throat back. Now start to lift your heart like crazy, push from the back of the heart, pull your ribs in and pull your hands down to the floor, but keep your heart lifting up. Nice, Janet. Keep that knee moving forward and then release your hands down to the floor, Hanumanasana. Straighten that front leg. Hanuman, front leg straight, coming into split. Beautiful. The only time you look at me. Is that good enough? Do it with love. Good. Come on out. Downward dog. Vinyasa of choice or none at all. Left foot forward when you're ready. Anjaneyasana. Nice, Allison. Friends, friends, friends. All right. So here we go. Clasp your hands behind your back. Bend your elbows. Lift your shoulders, draw them back. Squeeze your forearms toward each other. Pull your rib cage in. Then pull your arms down. Lift your chest up. Pull up. Then keep that left knee moving forward. Watch just dropping your head back. Pull your throat back instead. Yeah. Gorgeous. Hands down to the floor. Straighten your front leg. Hanuman. Take your time. Breathe deeply. Fantastic. Downward facing dog. Jump to squat. Our 3-minute squat challenge. Every day, squatting for 3 minutes. Have I been doing this for more than a month? Maybe I have been. Good. Come down to sit. Stretch your legs out to a wide V, please. Clasp your hands behind your back. So what's interesting here is as you start to move forward, you may not come as far. Somehow the hands in front help you to pull forward, but come as far forward as you can with your arms behind your back. Pull from your throat, pull from your heart. Lead with the heart. Push the thighs down as much as you can. And then maybe when you're ready, release the hands down in front of you softly. Relax the hands softly. Breathe. Awakening a new quality of love. Unlocking love that is encoded in all creation. Pretty powerful job. Good. Navel in, come on up. Bend your knees, reach for your big toes, and lift your legs off of the ground. Come to a nice wide V. Push from the back of the heart forward. Nice, Audrey. Good. Now squeeze the legs toward each other and then take your arms out alongside, boat pose. Beautiful. Keep pushing from the back of the heart. Good. Now place your feet down onto the floor. Place your hands behind you, fingertips in toward the butt, and lift your butt up. Good. Now lower your butt back down. Grab your big toes again. Stretch your legs nice and wide. Push from the back of the heart. Soften from the ribs. Squeeze your legs back in toward each other. Boat. Arms alongside. And then lower your feet back down. Bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees drop wide. And press those baby toes down to the floor and walk yourself forward and aim out. There's a time at the end of the story of the Ramayana when after everything has been proven, that Sita has been honest and everything that she has done has been the perfect wife, she's still exiled. But as I'm reading this story, that also was her choice. To live in a hermitage was her choice. To live with nature was her choice. To raise her children, her 2 boys, was her choice. But that's not the way it's said in the Ramayana. It said, you're like, no way, not again. And you can't figure out how to act with Ram, because Ram is like the perfect everything. He's God essence. So you're like, how is that possible that he keeps sending her away? Like, you kind of get mad at him, Inhale, come on up. Lie on your back, please. Hug your knees into your chest. Everything she does is on purpose. And there's no denying the love that Ram and Sita have for each other. It's not of this world. It's not conditional. And take your legs straight up to the sky. Put your arms out to letter T, please. Root those ribs down to the floor so you have great abdominal foundation here. You can even take your palms face down if you'd like. And then take your legs nice and wide, big letter V. And I think you're going to get stuck because your legs are not going to be able to go straight ahead. So you scoot up a little bit. And then squeeze your legs in very slowly toward each other. Very slow. And then take your right leg toward the floor as in the letter L. And then let that leg hover. Don't touch the floor. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. So if you have a giant block between your legs, navel in. Now take that leg back up. Take your left leg down, letter L. Hover. Navel in. Inhale that leg back up. Letter V. Letter V. A, B, C, D. Slowly take those legs back in. Slow, slow, squeeze them in. Good. Now wrap your right knee on top of your left knee and squeeze your shins toward each other. Draw your knee. Don't hold them though. Squeeze those knees in. Squeeze them in. Squeeze your shins. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Now squeeze your shins away from each other. Pull them away. Oh, shins away from each other. Good. Take your legs back up to the sky and left knee on top of right knee. Pull the knees in close, squeeze your shins. Check, please. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good. Now pull the shins away from each other. Pull away. Navel in. And legs up to the sky. Lower your feet down to the mat and breathe. Jesus. Holy Mother Mary. Holy Sita. Mama Sita.
That's what we could call you.
Yeah, I'll answer. Mama Sita. Good. Keep your knees bent here so you're doing that really nice constructive rest pose. Relax your arms for a moment. Breathe deeply. Cute puppy, Lisa. Cute puppy Heidi. Good. And then go ahead and come into bridge and clasp your hands underneath you. Release your hands and come on down. Just pause. Now, even if you're not going to go into full wheel, I want you to set your hands as if you are going to go into wheel. So set your hands by the ears. Don't worry, you're not going. Powerful legs. Soften your navel to the floor. Now start to lift your chest. Don't come up yet. Lift your chest. Good. Soften your ribs again. Lift your chest. Soften your ribs. Lift your chest. Now your hands can go a little wider if you want to squeeze your forearms in toward each other. Good. If you want to lift your hips up here, you can do that. If you want to just stay there and keep working that heart energy. And if you want to even try to lift up into full wheel, you can do that or stay right there. Just doing the work on the floor. Gorgeous. Come on down. But now stretch your legs out. Press your legs into the floor so the thighs reach down to the floor, the heels reach down to the floor, arms alongside the body. And now start to lift from the back of the heart, push your ribs down, lift from the back of the heart, push your ribs down, and then curl the crown of your head onto the mat, fish pose. Yes, coming up through the back of the heart. And release back down. Roll your head from side to side. Good, come in into just that steady, balanced place. Just 1 minute, a make-believe Shavasana. Not a real one yet. I'm going to give you an opportunity to go upside down here. So shoulder stand, headstand, handstand, arm balance, or legs up the wall. If none of that sounds appealing, maybe the soles of your feet come together. You let your knees drop open. Nice. Keep breathing wherever you are. If you're in headstand, pressing your head down into the floor to lengthen your neck. If you're in handstand, be sure to use those legs. Nice, Veronica. Coming back in my next life with Veronica's practice.
Yes.
But I think you have to do gymnastics before yoga. And I think you have to be a little fearless. I think I'm too big of a scaredy cat sometimes. Just one more minute here. Nice. Nice, Alana. Good, and then make your way back down out of your inversion and take care of yourself, whether that means doing a downward dog. And then I'd like to come into pigeon. However, if you're on your back or you need to do pigeon on your back, go ahead and go onto your back. Otherwise, come onto your hands and knees, and we'll take our right knee forward for pigeon. Now, if you're doing pigeon where your belly is facing the floor, clasp your hands behind your back, and then start to come forward nice and slow. There can be a crash landing, so go slow. Go slow, go slow. And then release your hands down to the floor. If you're on your back, make sure you flex both feet. Breathe deeply here. So I'm going to give two different instructions here. If you're on your back, you can lift up your head and reach for your foot. That's going to give you an option of coming on up. If you are having your belly facing the floor, what I want you to do is lift yourself back up, staying in pigeon. And I want you to think about your shin moving a little bit more parallel to the front of the mat, and it doesn't have to go completely parallel. And I want you to prayer twist, bringing your right elbow to your right foot, other way, more. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So your elbow and your foot, and if your foot cannot come parallel to the front of the mat, where would your foot be if it was, and place your elbow there for that twist? Good. Come on up and release. Nice, Kathy. And downward facing dog. Pigeon second side. Or lying on your back. Clasp your hands behind your back. Come forward slowly. Once your forehead touches the floor, release your hands in front of you. Nicely, Mila. Keep breathing, mindful breathing. serving yourself. We have all the paths of yoga, path of knowledge, path of service, path of devotion. If you're on your back, you're welcome to just lift your head and reach through toward that foot. Or if your belly is facing, try to move that shin slightly forward. And again, you don't have to. You could take the twist by just placing the elbow where that foot would be if the shin was parallel. Good, lift your head, pull your head back. Yes. And release, come on up, swing that leg forward if you're on your back, come on up to sit. Last forward bend, slide your right leg out in front of you. Janu Shirshasana, bend your left knee. And come forward over that right leg. No job too small or too big. Nothing below or above. In service of love, you may end up cleaning the floors. Come on up and change sides. The very first time, come on forward into Janu Shirshasana, second side. First time I ever went to do some karma work at Ananda Ashram, I wanted to work in the kitchen, but I wanted to work on my hours, meaning that I wanted to go and take the meditation class, and then I wanted to do the Sanskrit class, and then I wanted to help in the kitchen, which meant the only thing I could do is clean the floors. I couldn't help cook because that was over. In service. The name of the book, if anybody wants to get it, is The Untold Story of Sita, an Empowering Tale for Our Time. The author is Dina Miriam. It's just fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. I don't know the last time, maybe you guys are good book readers. I don't know the last time I actually have sat daily for an hour or two and read a book. Does anybody do that anymore? Yeah, a couple of you do. Okay. I don't know. It seems weird to me. Like I have to get up every, half hour or so and be like, am I allowed to keep sitting? I don't know. Good. Inhale, come on up. Come to a comfortable seat, please. Bring your thumb and first finger to touch. And close your eyes in service of yourself, of your dharma, of your karma, and of your soul. Just take a minute in silent meditation to listen deeply. You can stay here if you'd like. Turn around and lie down on your back. You're lying on your back, hug your right knee into your chest. Take a spinal twist. Make sure you twist to both sides. And as you feel ready, Shavasana, if you're on your back. So gently begin to deepen your breath. Let your body begin to stretch and yawn in any way that serves you well. If you're lying on your back, hug your knees into your chest, roll to the right side, come on up to sit. Drawing your hands together at your heart center. When you do everything in service of love, it's on your terms. It's deeply from within you. Chant Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti 3 times. Inhale. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace. Sliding your hands to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Have a beautiful day, everyone.
Really?
Thank you, Sheryl.